I've watched anime for almost 8 years now, and I can safely say that there's just no show quite like Welcome to the NHK. It's a personal story about Sato who struggles in life being a hikikomori, but beyond that, it's a show about people and their respective flaws. While the series may shroud itself under a pretense of dark comedy and self-deprecating humor, I think there's a lot to learn about NHK and what it says about life. Many who have seen the series say that it's eerily relatable, or that they can see part of themselves in the characters. And while I do find this to be true for myself to some extent, I want to go past that and see just what Welcome to the NHK is trying to say. In the beginning of the series, Sato is in a dark place, both figurative and literally. His room is littered with piles of trash with no light coming through the windows, and his mentality is even worse. He can't even go outside without thinking to himself that everyone around him is looking down on him. It's a vicious and self-destructive lifestyle that Sato is unable to escape, one that he has already accepted. In our society, being a recluse is heavily frowned upon, and displaying antisocial behavior is almost akin to having a mental disorder. You hear people saying to just go out there, find a job, meet new people, but the answer is never that easy. If it was, we'd be living in a perfect world. Sato didn't choose to become a shut-in. I don't think anyone does. It's due to life's circumstances that he has to live with this harsh reality, being unemployed and a college dropout. At the time of writing this script, I can see part of myself not only within Sato, but with the other characters. And at first, that scared me. I may not be a hikikomori like Sato, I go to university, have a part-time job, but due to factors outside my control, I'm only part-time studying this year. This leaves me with 3 days free to do whatever I want. While I do like meeting and talking to family and friends, being the introvert that I am, that's not every day of every week. Most of the time, I'm alone, watching something or playing games. For me, it's just easier that way. I don't have to worry about what people think, and I don't have to force myself to talk to anyone when I'm not in the mood. While that may be the most comfortable choice, I know it's not the right one. What I learned from rewatching Welcome to the NHK is that the easiest path in life is often the wrong one. You may feel a sense of security, but you gradually start to eat away at yourself. You begin questioning whether or not you could be doing something worthwhile in your life. And the answer is almost always yes. But even so, you continue to live in the same way, hoping for a change, but never changing. It's this ethos that's captured so well in the series, and how we can learn to break away from it. The gradual change in Sato's life comes from the people he meets throughout the series. While Sato thinks of himself as the lowest of society, one who would never amount to anything, he slowly begins to discover that the people he encounters all feel the same in one way or another. Hitomi, who was Sato's upperclassman and a person he admired, decides to commit suicide because she feels that the unhappiness in life was a conspiracy out to get her. Megumi, who was the class president during the senior year of high school, winds up doing dirty work in order to support her brother and pay for her own tuition since her father died, but who eventually falls for a marketing scheme that she can't get out of. Even Yamazaki, for all the time they laughed, argued, and drank together, has to face the pressure of living a life already predetermined by his parents, even though he doesn't want to. And then there's Misaki, who seems fairly normal and genuinely wants to help Sato, only to find out that she harbors intense feelings of self-hatred and loneliness because all the people in her life seem to be unhappy when she's around. All the cruelty and unfairness these characters have to endure are just a part of this cycle we call life. It's not anybody's fault that their lives turned out this way, nor does it even matter. But Welcome to the NHK presents this idea that no matter how bad your life is, or how much of a worthless person you think you are, everyone is deserving to be understood, and that, most of all, you can always change for the better. The people that Sato meets throughout his journey are living at their lowest points in their lives. However, it's when he spends some time with them, whether it be a few hours or days, does he really get the chance to talk, understand, and even change them. During the Suicide Island arc, Hitomi and the other characters are so dead set in ending their lives, but it's on the brink of stepping off does she realize the importance of living. Everyone has their own problems, being expelled from medical school, getting divorced by your wife, being blackmailed to steal from your family. Whatever terrible things that's happened in your life, suicide is never the answer. You can always turn your life around. It's only a matter if you're willing to let others do so. No one can predict how their life will turn out, and it's no better shown than through Megumi and her brother. Megumi, who was the class president, had a bright future ahead of her. However, due to unforeseen circumstances, her father passed away and she was forced to work self-demeaning jobs in order to pay for tuition and support her brother. Feeling desperate, she falls for the marketing scheme and is under a huge debt that she can't even pay. But it's only when the company she's working for gets apprehended can she start again, during which Yuichi almost starves to death that he's forced to get a job. The drastic change that happens to these characters' lives are a result of them hitting rock bottom, but then realizing if you open up to the people around you, it's possible to make a difference no matter how small. Without knowing it, Sato had grown more confident in the outside world due to making a game with Yamazaki and attending Misaki's lectures. However, it's when Yamazaki returns back to help his family business does Sato realize how alone he actually is and the importance of having someone to talk to. There's this great sequence with the universe ever expanding to illustrate just how alone Sato is without anyone with him. Now for me, Misaki is the most damaged character out of anyone in the series. While on the outside she tries to put on a calm and optimistic demeanor, even trying to cure Sato of his hikikomori tendencies, it was all just an act. Misaki hates herself. She feels unwanted by the world and the people around her, as if everything in life was her fault. Her father passed away when she was young, and her mother remarried into an abusive husband. Misaki's mother couldn't handle that life and committed suicide in front of her, leaving Misaki to bear the consequences left behind, being physically abused, which scarred her mentally, leaving her unable to build relationships with anyone. So when she found a person more worthless than her, Misaki found purpose in life. She felt needed by Sato, but when he rejects the contract in the final lecture, she loses her reason to live.
私は寂しいよ。
俺は寂しくない。
No one should ever need to feel that there's no way out in their life. Whatever pain may come, you have to face life with the hand you're dealt with. But that doesn't mean you should face it alone. Welcome to the NHK advocates for people to empathize and understand each other. Even if what Misaki says is right, that 90% of life is pain and suffering, even if there's no meaning in life, you should live. Everyone suffers in their own way, but even if you just have one person that cares, you can make life worth living. While Misaki puts the blame on the unfairness in life due to God being evil, you can never run away from something like that. That's not what true salvation is. You have to own up to it, to first accept yourself and others before you can really change, even if it means admitting that you are a worthless person. Suicide is never the right choice in NHK. No matter what hardships you've lived throughout your life, even if you feel as if everything is against you, if you don't want to live for yourself, then live for others. That's what Welcome to the NHK is all about. This shared understanding that everyone suffers in their own way, but pulling through together because that's the only way you can live. People understanding other people, and there's nothing more comforting than that.